The reason I picked Palo Santo for our giveaway tonight is because it has a really rich history with Young Living. So back when Gary Young was originally going to Ecuador to find, potentially he was trying to actually start like a college, like a college of sorts, and he got there and realized that they weren't even getting like elementary education. They were nowhere near ready for a college of like a medical college, and so he realized there was a lot of need there for a school, and he also realized that there was a lot of need for resources like money. And so he kind of spent a few days, instead of working on the school and the college, he went into the woods and he started discovering plants. He started looking and finding plants like Dorado Azul, which at that time had never been found. And he found a ton of Palo Santo trees. So if you don't know how this works, Palo Santo falls on the ground, the tree falls on the ground. The longer that the tree is dead on the ground, the more the oil accumulates in the tree. So the higher the yield. And he was astonished to find so much Palo Santo in these trees. And he realized that this was how he was going to add value to this community in Ecuador. They needed work and he needed these trees. So he employed a lot of the local people to go in the woods, gather the trees. It was a win-win, right? Because now these people had resources and Gary Young was able to pay them a fair amount of money. And then he was getting in trade Palo Santo. And the reason that I picked Palo Santo, beyond the fact that it has a ton of amazing benefits, you could just do a quick Google search or Pinterest search to find that. I picked it because with time, it gets better. And tonight we have the honor and privilege of hearing from my brother, Jordan Thompson. And you guys, like, if this isn't redemption on this call right now, I don't know what is. We have had such a unique relationship from living in really close quarters as young children, fighting like cats and dogs. I mean, constant competition, constant, and I think that's pretty common for siblings, but we, like, Jordan can tell you, we had it so bad that I remembered that at one point I even blocked him on Facebook. I even blocked my own brother on Facebook. I was probably being dramatic, but no, and our relationship has gotten sweeter with time, and it's gotten so, like, I love him so much. I love his wife so much. They're about to have their first baby. Gosh, it's just redemption. And so just like Palo Santo, it gets sweeter with time. All right, so if you checked in with your slate, just put done in the comments. I'll pick a winner for the end, and get out your notes, get out your notebooks, because there's gonna be another giveaway at the end. And if you Insta story a picture of your notes tonight, you're gonna get entered to win that next giveaway. So Jordan, without further ado, I'm gonna hand it over to you. You're one of my favorite people in the world. Thank you so much for doing this for our team. You're awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an honor to get to share here. I want to kind of start by just taking a minute and acknowledging you, Bethany, just in front of your team, and acknowledging to your team. You know, you guys have an amazing leader in my sister, and I really look up to her a lot. She's taught me a lot in this world of kind of connecting with people and business, and just watching her passion and her leadership has been really powerful. So thank you, Bethany. I want to acknowledge that. So I'm going to hop right in. I'll give kind of an introduction of myself. My name's Jordan. My background is in music primarily, and then in restaurant management. And with the kind of more recent turn of events in the world, I transitioned out of restaurant management, and I've kind of been like on a search for what's next for me. And I got involved with a solar company and doing door-to-door sales. And it kind of blew me away, because I was like, man, there's so much to be discovered about life, in this. And I started talking about it with Bethany, and Bethany said, dude, you got to share this with my people, because this is incredible. So I'm just going to share what I've taken that I think will translate to the world of kind of direct sales with oils, team building, mental preparation, all of that stuff. I'm going to share that with you guys. If you have your notebooks, keep it out, take some notes. There should be some cool stuff here. So with getting on the doors and doing door-to-door sales, it's a really interesting experiment in rejection and acceptance, because no matter what, you're an interruption to someone's day. Like, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter at what moment, someone knocks on your door, they're interrupting your day. And so a really powerful piece is like being ready to be an interruption to someone, being open to that experience of rejection, and also being open to transitioning that into contribution, what you have to bring. So the first thing, that I really noticed moving from door to door is like what this is about, and what I think sales is about in general. Or I'm not even going to say sales. I'm going to say like bravely sharing. What bravely sharing is about is how you are with rejection. And, so how you are with rejection is likely how you're going to be in that sales experience, or in that bravely sharing of yourself. And so a place for reflection in your life might be, how am I with rejection? How do I experience that? And how do I handle that, such that I have the stamina and what it takes to come back and like really be a part of this game long term. I'll give an example of the numbers, because I don't know how they pan out for you guys, but when you're knocking on people's doors, I might have to knock on 300-400 doors to get 3 or 4 sales. And so it's this, of those 300 doors, probably 250 of them are just cold no's. You know what I mean? Just like really cold, really, you interrupted whatever I'm doing, and it's a cold no. And it's like, okay. And then maybe 47 of them are actually cool conversations where, okay, this is a cool person, we're connecting, and maybe it's going to be a fit for them, maybe it's not going to be a fit for them. And then 3 of them are going to be like, okay, wow, this program is going to be a good fit for you. We had a good connection, the conversation went really well, we built some rapport, and then that goes to a sale, right? And so, yeah, what I discovered is how I am with rejection is how I am in that environment. If I can play in the world of rejection, then I can hang, Getting distinct that you're not your offer, right? Like when you come to someone and you're making your proposition, whether it's, hey, I thought you might want to transition to plant-based cleaners for your home, or hey, maybe you want to be a part of this community where we're talking about, health and wellness and balance in life. You are not that thing that you're offering. And being really distinct and clear about that is important when you're sharing, because that allows you to really share from the heart a little bit more and not be so afraid of that rejection. And that's something that I found was powerful. It's like, man, when I'm out there, I'm guarding my soul with that. I'm saying, okay, I am not being rejected here. I have an offer. I have something I believe is a contribution. I'm going to share it. And if that isn't received, that's okay. You know what I mean? And I move on. Right. And then be someone that you respect, that you can respect inside of your offer and rejection. You know what I mean? Getting salty after something doesn't go your way, or turning away in a way that isn't, oh, this didn't go exactly how I pictured it, so I'm not gonna be someone that I can respect anymore. Being someone you can respect is really powerful in any area of your life, and especially inside of being rejected. This is a way that you can honor and respect yourself for a long time. Don't take yourself too seriously, man. This is something that I learned. I tend towards taking myself too seriously. And my mom has actually given me wisdom in my life in this area of just like, hey, don't take yourself so seriously, man. It's really not that big of a deal. And it was powerful getting that on knocking on those doors, because it's really easy to make this serious interaction where, man, I'm really trying to get a sale and I'm really got to connect with this person. But what I found is that when I'm not taking myself seriously and I'm calm, and I'm able to share and I'm able to adapt to what's coming in and say, oh, okay, this is the situation you're in your life. Let me see if do I have something that's going to be a contribution to you? This isn't that serious of an interaction. There's not, there's not a gravity to this that we can't actually just slow down and enjoy being humans. Something that was shared with me about that kind of door-to-door sales or direct sales is that really what you are is you're a professional human being, like connecting to people. That's really what you're doing. You're just connecting to people. You're just sitting there having a normal conversation with each other. And so if you can perfect what that looks like, if you can perfect that and really perfect being present with another person, then you're doing it. You're doing your job. You're being a professional human being, being there with people. So I have a quote. I have two quotes in here from Jim Carrey. He's one of my favorite people. And this one is just about that world of rejection, that world of taking yourself too seriously. Jim Carrey said that so many of us choose our path out of fear and we disguise it as practicality, right? And so while I'm not gonna like straight up challenge all of you to go around in your neighborhood and knock on the doors in your neighborhood and say, hey, I'm so-and-so with so-and-so, and I just wanted to share this with you. I'm not gonna say that you have to do that. I totally invite you to do it, and I'm totally here to like coach you through what you need to do to be prepared for that. While that is there, what you'll notice is that if you play the game with me of imagining that you're gonna do that, imagine that you're gonna go to your neighbors, people that you don't know, people who would never know you if you didn't knock on their door and make an offer to them to have a discovery conversation about if you have something that could contribute to their life. Just imagine that for a second. So when you imagine that you're going to do that, whatever comes up inside of that space of like, I couldn't do that, or you know, maybe you're like, oh, that's super exciting to me, where do I start? But what came up for me in imagining that was just like, I mean, it's like panic. It's like sheer fear, you know? And that fear is pretty appropriate because for a lot of us, there's not a high level of preparation around what we're going to do when we're in that situation, right? Tony Robbins said this, and it was shared with me by someone who's a mentor for me in business. He said, excuses, particularly related to excuses in engaging the client or engaging the potential customer, are always a result of a lack of preparation. Always. I haven't discovered this to be untrue yet. What my experience has been that, whether you guys are out there prospecting someone to be you're prospecting someone to be a builder, or maybe you're just prospecting someone who's like going to be a client of yours who's going to use the products, or whatever it is you're going to do. Any amount of hesitation there or excuse there is a result of your not being fully prepared for it. And I know that's kind of putting you guys on blast, and I do that from a space of contribution. But it's kind of like, okay, if you're not ready to go with taking that on, then the space that needs your energy is that preparation. So you're either preparing or you're moving, right? So I want to share that with you guys because that's what I discovered, because there are so many things that can get in your head, when you're prospecting. For me, it's like, oh, I don't, this neighborhood, I don't think this is the right neighborhood. I need to get to a different neighborhood, or there's not enough of the right kind of roofs here. Or like, maybe I just talked to someone whose credit score wasn't very good. These excuses are all things that I put in my own path because I don't have the preparedness to like really go out there and do it, really go out there and make it happen, have the conversations, put in the time, put in the steps, whatever that is. So excuses are always a result of lack of preparation. And I'll share all of my outline for this with you guys in the notes after this. So you have a second to kind of copy it and take it, just whatever's useful to you. So hesitation or mental chatter, man, I don't know about you guys, but in the world of going out there and prospecting and finding new people, something that's been really eye-opening for me is noticing how I speak to myself in between failures, or oh, that conversation could have gone better than it did. How do I talk to myself about that? So I play a little game with myself, and I'm going to share that game with you guys. The space in which that mental chatter takes place for me is in between one mailbox and another. So I have an interaction. Maybe it's not the interaction that I particularly was wanting or something like that. And I'm moving to another door. Well, so that space in between those two mailboxes was where I speak to myself. And I want to preface this by saying I'm not super into positivity And what I mean by that is overlaying reality with positive thinking or something like that. And I don't say that to attack it. I just mean I'm much more a fan of aligning with reality than overlaying something on it. I think that's the route to happiness. So yeah, in between the mailboxes, speaking to myself, what I will do is I'll literally just say, oh wow, look at that tree. Look at that. Oh, there's a hummingbird right there. And I'm looking at my app. I have a canvassing app, probably something similar to you guys have when you're prospecting or whatever you're doing on Facebook. Oh, let's talk to wonder if Mr. Myers still lives here. I wonder how he's doing today. Well, let's talk to him. Let's see who this guy is. And I'm talking to myself in that way that is like, these are things that are present and in my life. These are things that are here. I'm noticing that tree, noticing that hummingbird, noticing that this maybe who lives in this house. Oh, check it out. This house looks this way. I'm going to walk up to this. And it's very difficult while doing that to also have man, I really need to get a sale there. I haven't had a lead yet. Am I going to go out today with no leads? Oh my God. That mental chatter that's generally hinged around, am I enough or I'm not enough, is really hard to exist in the space of reality. Like, here's what's happening. Here's where I am. Here's the space that I'm in. I'm walking from my kitchen to my work desk at home with a cup of tea and about to prospect so-and-so. Let's see how this goes. That's a way of grounding in the present moment that actually keeps you present, instead of in the mind, in the, kind of in the mess of the mind. The mind can create and create and create, and it's particularly hard to control. I haven't met anyone who's fully mastered the mind such that I can say, okay, go ahead and stop using it. And they can. It's kind of just running. It's kind of just doing its own thing. It's unhinged. And so finding a way into the present moment from the mind has been very important for me. I'm just checking time here. Cool. So how do you speak to yourself, man? Just like really paying attention to that. And I would encourage each of you, I know each of you have mentors and you have team members and things like that you're in conversation with about how you're doing in your day-to-day. Have a conversation with that person about how do you speak to yourself and what are you committed to speaking to yourself? Like, are you honoring yourself in how you speak, at the very least? Or if you're not, what are you doing to become present? Make that commitment to someone on your team. That's really important. And let's see here. Okay, hope. I want to talk about hope for a little bit because I think this is kind of the gem in what I have to say today, like the reframe that is really valuable. It's very easy to live in a space where we say, I really hope for this outcome. I really hope for this thing. And so what I want each of you to do is just take a moment and picture someone you are prospecting right now. So someone that is in your prospects list right now. And I want you to picture them and picture, what do I hope the outcome is going to be when I engage them, or when I close them, or however it is you're moving forward. I want you to really picture, what do I hope is going to happen here? Okay. Now, what is the upside of hope is that thing could happen, right? You could get exactly what you want when you've engaged that person. The downside of hope is that any other way that turns out is going to be in direct opposition to what you were hoping for, right? Another way of saying that is, how many possible outcomes are there that will not match up with what you were hoping? And that's, infinity outcomes minus one, because you have that one outcome that you are hoping, right? And then all the rest of the outcomes don't work. And then I want you to take a moment and think about how many possible outcomes are better than what you have specifically hoped for. Okay, so how many outcomes are there that are better? And there's a ton of them, right? It could be like something like 50% of all possible outcomes are better than what it is you've hoped for, right? You could be prospecting someone that you think is just going to be a product user, and it turns out they're just like, oh yeah, I built a Fortune 500 company and I'd love to do this with you, and boom, you know what I mean? You guys are on your way to Royal Crown Diamond together, something like that. So the reason I bring that up, and the reason that I say, oh, almost infinite outcomes are not going to match up with what you hoped for, and nearly infinite outcomes are going to be actually better than what you had hoped for. The reason I bring that up is I think a reframe is really powerful when we move that world of hope into the world of curiosity or wonder. Wonder is actually kind of a better word because it's magical, you know? There's magic in that wonder. And so something happened for me when I stopped hoping this would be the door, and I started wondering who this person was going to be that I would meet, right? Or wondering I wonder if this is I wonder if this is the door today that's just going to be like what makes it awesome, or I wonder who this is going to be. And I think this reframe is amazing for two reasons. One, how it feels to live in a space of wonder, to live in a beingness of wonder, is so much more open and accepting than in a space of hope. Like hope is super narrowed down, right? And then wonder is really open. And when I say hope here, I don't mean like I hope life is going to be good. I mean like I have an attachment to an outcome. I'll try to be more distinct with that. So that hope that I'm talking about is I have this attachment to this outcome, or I have this wonder of what is going to take place in front of me, what's going to unfold in front of me, right? With that wonder, curiosity, there's so many outcomes that are possible that weren't before. And it's not just because you're in a different space, it's because the person you're interacting with just stepped into a space where they are literally free to show up. However it is they are. They're going to show up to someone who is wondering who they are, who's genuinely curious. So who are you? I wonder if I can be a contribution to you today, you know? So that, for me, that transformed a lot, right? And so now I think, you know, if you're in a space of wonder, for me, so now you're willing to align with anything the universe throws your way, right? I'm willing to align with anything and respond to it in an appropriate way. And you're curious. And I think that being curious is actually one of the most natural responses to being in a state of alignment with things as they are. Like gratitude and curiosity, I think, are the most realistic responses to existence, you know, at their core. And that's a whole nother talk. But some of what that wonder is almost like a state of enoughness, living in a state of enoughness, such that your faith that you are provided for is strong enough that you are available and open to actually wonder who this is, right? You're not desperate and clingy and, you know, like seem like you just want commission or whatever it is. You're living in that state. And so with that like state of almost faith and openness, you get to be in a state of wonder, right? And so I'm going to share one more quote from Jim Carrey about this. And when he's using hope in this quote, he's using it the same way I was earlier. That's more about an attachment to an outcome, not about like a generally positive state. He's saying like a positive state about what's going to happen. He's saying like, oh, I really hope this, or I really hope I'm going to make this, or I really hope, you know, whatever, the attachment to that outcome. Jim Carrey says, I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it. So that space of faith, you know, I really believe is the entryway to living in a state of wonder. And I think when we live in a state of wonder, it allows others to show up authentically. And then we're having a real conversation, you know, and we don't have to, somebody doesn't have to fit something to end up in our world. It doesn't have to go how we expect it's going to go in order to be a contribution to someone. And that's been really powerful for me. I want to make sure that I have enough time here to, 7:55. Okay, we're nearing it. So I'm going to Yeah, so I'm going to move really quick through this last piece. But what I want you guys to do as your homework for this session, I don't know if Bethany gives you guys homework or if the trainers do, but I'm going to give you homework today. And your homework is to hone a pitch for yourself so that if you interact with a stranger, you can give them a pitch. And the way I'll define that is you can have a discovery conversation that is about your ability to contribute to them, right? So you are going to be able to lead a discovery conversation on your ability to contribute to them. That's what I would define as a pitch. The steps for having your pitch ready is you need to memorize it. Then you need to customize it to yourself or to your market. And then you master it, which is you're the master of these customizable pieces that you have. Okay. So you need to write it out, you need to say it out, and then you need to customize it, and then you need to master it. Okay. So write your pitch and include these elements. For those of you taking notes, be ready to write this down. The first thing you need for your pitch is a quick intro, like who you are and what you're doing, with no apologies. Okay. So no, like, hey, I'm so sorry to take your time. I'm so, whatever. Right? Because you're not sorry. You wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be talking to them if you were sorry. And if you're truly grounded in that you're there to be a contribution to their life, then you don't have anything to apologize for. Okay. Quick intro with no apologies. Then you're going to move straight to the problem. Okay. So you want to spend a lot of time on the problem. And for you guys, this is going to be something that you get to be creative with, because I don't know exactly what brought you to this, to this company or into this, but it's probably that there was a problem. There was something missing, for you. So the problem for me, if I'm just going to pretend that I'm knocking on a door and prospecting for oils, I might say, hey, I'm Jordan. I'm with Young Living. We're just out in your neighborhood talking to some people about some plant-based cleaners that are available. Have you guys have probably had trouble finding, cleaners that don't have a bunch of chemicals you can't pronounce. You don't know what they are. Right? You get a little bit of agreement. You're going to spend time on that problem. Look, there's products out here that are in everybody's sink that contain toxins that are, known to various parts of the world or known to science to cause problems for human beings, but we still use them because we think we don't have anything better. I'm sure you've heard of this, right? So you're spending time on that problem. Yeah, talk about the problem. Spend your time here and get agreement, right? Because you're getting agreement and you're soft closing someone. What you'll find is that a lot of times in this, you might not get agreement out of the gate. That might not be what they're into in that moment. And that's okay. You can let that go and you can move on. That might not be the conviction that everybody holds or what everybody's interested in. But I will say that if you're interested in it, and if this many people are interested in it, I can tell you that it's highly likely, that a lot of people have thought about this before. So spend some time on the problem and get some soft closing or some agreement around the problem. It's like, man, you've heard of this, right? Like detergents, reacting to people's skin or whatever. I know I had that when I was a kid. Anyways, I didn't know there was anything available. Then, when I got in touch with this company and started like using some of their products, I realized, wow, there's like a whole line of plant-based cleaners that's available out there. Has anybody talked to you about that? Oh, no, maybe not. So, okay. And so now you're developing something about a solution, what you have to offer. And maybe what you have to offer is community, or maybe what you have to offer is this cleaning supplies. Maybe it's, the oils, or maybe it's, my wife and I do the feelings protocol pretty often. Maybe that's what you're doing. Maybe you want to attend to people in your neighborhood. Like, hey, I want to offer you something that's like, a lot of people are having trouble right now. I want to offer you this, we're going to do a class with the feelings protocol, whatever it is that you have to offer, whatever your solution is and whatever your problem is. Presence the problem, get that agreement, move to that solution, get agreement around the solution, and then follow through naturally in the way that serves both of you guys. So I don't know what is going to, I don't know if, I don't know exactly what your guys' pipeline looks like in terms of, what I would do on the door is I want people to come to maybe a 101. I want them to come to, or maybe I want them to come to a meditation circle that I'm doing, socially distanced meditation circle where we, have a diffuser and we like meditate on peace or something like that. I don't know what it is you want to do, but whatever you want to do, that's where you're moving this conversation. That's what you're discovering, if whatever it is you have to offer is a contribution to them, right? That's it. So I'll put these steps in this chat in a sec, or I'll just do it right now. But write out your pitch. Okay. Follow these steps for it. Boom. There we go. Write out your pitch. Follow these steps for it. And my challenge for you is to run it with that mentor person. Okay. Speak to them through the conversation. Have them, be normal person, and you can play with each other. Remember, just play. Like when we run pitches, sometimes I'll be like, knock, knock, knock. And my brother will be like, can I help you? I'm like, hey man, I'm out here, with Sunrun, I'm supposed to catch the homeowner. Is that you? And he'll be like, no. And just end the conversation right there. It's like, it's kind of fun to mess with each other that way, and just, you can play with it, and then make sure you run all the way through like the ideal, and then do something with a couple objections, so you can be working with that and be working. I want to tell you that the first door I was on, I basically had a panic attack. It was so tough. It was so hard. And I was like, didn't know what I was going to say. I hadn't memorized, customized, masterized, whatever. I had no mastery of what I was saying. But as soon as I was in that situation and just choked on the door and totally just ended up being some like nervous, weird guy on some guy's doorstep, my mind immediately went to work being like, okay, how do I make that never happen again? How do I make that be the conversation that I need it to have? And so my mind went to work on that, and I actually ended up, being pretty successful my first few trips out, door knocking for people. And so that pretty much wraps up what I have to share with you guys. And I know we spent all of our time. It's 8:02 here, but that wraps up what I have to share with you guys. I just, in closing, I'll say that, I'm not a salesy person. Like I don't have the, whatever, I'm not just, that's just not my game, but I am good at being myself, and I am good at sharing some stuff that's important to me with people. And so something that I've learned is that who you can charm and what you can sell is not as impactful as who you can be, and what you can share. So I just believe that being and sharing is like the ground for relating to others. And I want to give that to you guys and just empower you to be who you are, and share with each other. And then also in closing, if any of you guys, particularly those of you in the really sunny states like Florida, California, or, Nevada, New Mexico, whatever, if any of you guys want to see what moving in a more sustainable, autonomous production of your energy would look like, give me a text, give me a call. I'll drop my number in the chat. I'd love to be able to talk to you guys about that. And then otherwise, I'm going to open it up to Bethany. I think we might have maybe 1 or 2 minutes. There may be some questions or something like that. I'd be happy to answer for you guys.
Very cool. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Yeah. And just to recap that at the end, I didn't know what that meant. And I had the blessing of looking at his notes. So that means that if you need solar, if you're interested in your home getting solar, I was thinking like autonomous energy, like my own personal aura. Like at first I
work on that too, we can do the aura stuff too. But
like,
yeah,
it's so generous that you're offering to like call, like they can call you.
No. Yeah, let me be really distinct. If you guys are interested in looking at a proposal that would show you what solar looks like on your roof, how much you would pay each month, and how that would compare to what you pay with your utility company, I'd be more than happy to build a proposal for you. How about that?
That's perfect. Loved it. Nailed it. Oh man, I learned so much. All right, so let's do a quick giveaway. If you want to support Jordan, first thing you can do is, he did not ask me to do this, so I'm just doing this on my own. He's a very talented musician as well, so go follow him on Spotify. You can find that link in his bio on Instagram at Jordan_Taylor_Thompson, or you can just search Jordan Thompson. So go follow him on Spotify, go follow him on Instagram, and then for a giveaway, and this is like a small giveaway, but it is, if you know, it's not a small giveaway, because this lip balm is the best lip balm in the entire world. It does not dry out your lips. It does not make you feel like you have to reapply. Did you know that they literally put toxins in lip balm or like lip for us to dry out our lips so that we'll have to use it again. I'm not into that idea. So I'm going to give away this lip balm to one person who takes a picture of your notes and puts it on your Insta story and tags Jordan or tags, actually, you're going to have to tag me so I can pick a winner. But just tag me, but make it really, really small. So it doesn't look like you tag me, just so I'll get notified. And then I will pick a winner and I'll reshare it in my story and say, you won. I'll pick one person to reshare. So Jordan, thank you so much. You guys, in just 10 minutes, we are coming back on this same Zoom link to hear about how to use essential oils for weight management. This is a hot topic. A lot of people want to know about this, especially this time of year. So I'm also kind of biased because you know that I'm obsessed with Eli. I think he is the coolest person in the world, and I think he needs to talk more. And he's going to be sharing his journey of how he actually lost 75 plus pounds when he was 12 years old. It's absolutely the most inspirational story, and it's also a really inspiration. He's just an inspirational person. So gather up whoever is interested in the weight management conversation, and we'll see you back here on this Zoom at 8:15. All right, 8:15 Central Time. Adios. Thanks so much, Jordan. Have a good night, y'all.